Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to everyone. Welcome back to your favorite show, Talk Show with me, AISYAH NAJEEHAH, as your host for today. How are you guys today? I hope you guys are doing fine. So today, we will talk about something that I think everyone will think at least twice before saying that I don't need it in my life. So what do you think the topic will be? It is mobile phones. It is hard, isn't it, to live without it? So right now, there are very few persons in the world that are not using mobile phones. Nowadays, because of developments in the field of technology, mobile has become a priority in everyone's life, so that every person uses it in their daily life for communication, business purposes, and even to study. In today's world, mobile phone has completely changed the life of an individual. Like every device, the mobile phone also has its pros and cons, which we shall discuss now. So to know more about this topic, we have invited two special guests to be here with us today. Let's welcome our guests, Miss AMANI HUSNA and Madam Fatin Izzati.
Hi!
Hi, and thank you so much for coming to our program today. It is such a great pleasure to have you guys together with us right now to talk more about mobile phones. But before we continue, let's have our guests to introduce themselves to us.
Alright, thank you to our beloved Miss Moderator, Miss AISYAH. Starting with my name is AMANI BINTI AZIZAN. I'm 20 years old right now. I live in Selangor, Malaysia, but I'm currently taking a degree law in Harvard Law School, Harvard University. But as of right now, I'm currently on my semester break for my semester this year. And for a little fun fact about me, I'm currently doing my thesis or a study regarding a topic that is very similar to our topic for today, which is the relation between teenagers and how they socialize nowadays, which is using mobile phones. So I'm very excited and glad to be on here to share my opinion about this topic, and I hope that everyone's watching is enjoying our show and talks for today. Proceeding with Madam Fatin.
Thank you, Amani. Hi everyone. Today I would like, first of all, before I introduce myself, I would like to thank to the organizer for having me to this program. Not only that, I think I am very excited to be here to share with you guys about my opinions about mobile phone. Firstly, my name is Fatin Izzati binti Zulkefli, and I am from Johor Bahru. I am 40 years old, and currently I work as a teacher at SK Majujaya. I really love my career as a teacher because I can meet a lot of people, and this is how the way I want to interact with them, especially my students. For your information, I have 12 years of experience of teaching, and I think I really love my career. I think that's it. I give it back to the moderator.
Thank you so much for the brief introduction. So now we have known our guests, but before that, let's ask them, how are you two feeling to be with us right now?
Thank you. I am feeling very honored and very amazed to be on this show today. I'm feeling fine and healthy, and I'm really excited to share my point of view about this topic, which is mobile phone. And I hope that our audience today are feeling the exact same way as I am, as if I'm really excited and thrilled to be on this show today. So I hope that everyone's watching can gain a little bit knowledge from our talk today, and I hope that everyone's watching is enjoying our show and just having a fun time listening and gaining new knowledge.
I agree with Amani's statement. I'm so excited like Miss Amani too, and I think we should be excited because this show have a lot of things we can share and gain more knowledge. I feel good like I should, and I'm very excited to share with all of you about my opinion about this hot topic, mobile phone. That's it.
Yeah, I also feel really excited to have you guys together with us right now. Thank you so much for sacrificing your time to be with us on this show today. So let's back on our main topic, mobile phone. I think they are known by their possibility, advanced technology and ease of use. So I would like to ask our guests, what do you understand about mobile phone?
Alright. From my point of view, I think that mobile phone, or what we call mobile telephone, is just another portable device for connecting to a telecommunication network that we use for transmitting, for example, data, videos, voice call, or anything related to mobile phones. And I think that mobile phone is just another advanced gadget that we use nowadays in the 21st century world, and that we use it for communication and also for socializing nowadays. So I think that mobile phone give a various definitions. So what about you, Adam?
I agree with your statement, Ms. Amani, and I just want to add a few points. Mobile phones are available in various shapes and sizes. And then, as we know, there's a lot of brands that you can buy from the electronic shop, like Samsung, iPhone, Lenovo, Huawei, and many more. But I think these mobile phones having their own different technical specifications, and are used for a number of purposes like video calling, voice chatting, text messaging, or we call it SMS, multimedia messaging, where we can share our videos and pictures to our friends. We can also use mobile phones to browsing the internet, email our friends. We can also playing video games and use our mobile phones in videography or photography stuff. And in my opinion, mobile phones make my life more easier, and I guess everyone will agree with my statement.
Yes, I also agree with your statement, madam. That is really such a great explanation of mobile phone. So let's proceed on our topic. I would like to ask our guest, Madam Fatin, do you think it is relevant to have a mobile phone, and can you live without a mobile phone in your life?
Okay, thank you for the question. For the first question, I think this is very relevant to have a phone nowadays. This is for our own good sake, and we need to use this technology for the right purpose and gradually reducing negative use with passing time. I can say that mobile phone has actually replaced true communication to electronic communication connections. For teenagers, I think it's very useful to use mobile phone to socialize with a lot of people nowadays. For the second question, I think honestly, I can't live without a mobile phone in my daily life. I say this because since COVID-19 pandemic, the government decided to do MCO, or we call it Malaysia Movement Control Order, and every citizen needed to stay at home for their own safety. Because of that, all of the students needed to do online distance learning, ODL. Honestly, I can say that I tried hard to adapt to the new norm, and not only me, I think all the students and the teachers also started the same thing during the online learning. Next, as a teacher in 21st century, I think I need to learn more. Even though I have the information about these technologies, but I think I need to learn more because even my students are more advanced in technology better than me. And next, I think I have one question for you guys. How can I survive if I'm not giving any homework to my students when I'm on leave? No, I'm just kidding. For real, I use mobile phone to share with them a few material, or I will give them homework wherever I go to make sure they can learn effectively. I love to use Google Meet or Telegram as the platform to communicate with them. Basically, after I give them a material or homework, they will ask me through WhatsApp or Telegram to make sure they can understand the task properly. Last but not least, for some people, they can live happily without a mobile phone but I guess I can't live without it because I think that mobile phone is like a gold nowadays. I think that's it.
Thank you so much for your answer, madam. Miss Amani, I would like to ask you, what do you think life is like without a mobile phone? And what about you? Do you think you can survive if you live without a mobile phone into this era?
Well, I think that is a really good question from Miss Aisyah. Thank you. But I think that life would be much more better without mobile phone. I'm pretty sure a lot of you is going to disagree with me. But I think that just imagine all of the family gathering, socializing event without mobile phone, how amazing that would be, and how we are all is able to connect with one another by just having a conversation in real life, and how everyone is having a healthy kind of relationship between each other by contacting face to face. So I think that this would help us to connect better as humans without having one thing as in between. For example, mobile phone. So I think that life without mobile phone can be amazing as it is right now. So for the next question, I'm very excited with Madam Fatin idea, and I would like to add some points because I think that I'm able to survive without mobile phone if I was living in the 90s. But back in the 21st century, it is almost impossible for us to go to our daily tasks without mobile phone. The reason why I say this is because let me give you a really simple example. Just now for lunch, I paid for my lunch by using my mobile phone, which is through cashless payment, QR codes, online transfer or banking transfer. So I think that this just shows how much we depend on our phone and how we are all, it's pretty impossible for us to survive without our mobile phone. So to give you more example, some shops nowadays, they don't even accept any cash anymore, and I think that's not surprising for us because a lot of people decided to go cashless nowadays and just go everywhere, just bringing mobile phone, credit cards, and I think that this new system that they developed is used wisely by people around the world. And to give you more example even, if you've heard of the new Apple Pay system created by Apple, it's a new system where you don't even need your credit card anymore. You can just bring your phone around and pay through your credit card, which is connected to your phone. So it is very easy for you to go everywhere around just by bringing your phone. So I think that this shows how much we depend and how mobile phone is giving us a lot of help and positive things, positive sides when it comes to our daily tasks and continuing our day-to-day life with our phone only. And of course, there's a lot of pros and cons for one thing or another, but for me personally, I see a lot of pros when it comes to using mobile phones as a gadget in our daily life. And it's not impossible actually, but I can say that now as a human, because we were so dependent on our mobile phone, it's almost it's going to be hard for us to continue our daily life and daily tasks without our mobile phones. I hope that answers the question.
That really answered the question actually. Thank you so much, Miss Amani, for the answer. It is actually really true, and I also think that everyone will also think the same because it is really hard to live without phones in this era. Since we do everything using our phone and we rely on it too much actually, more than we should. Because we so depend on our phone, it is very difficult to imagine a life without phone. Life without phone is very difficult in these present times because now we are so dependent on our phone for communication, and we also do many of our tasks on using our phone. So let's continue our session with next question. Madam Fatin, what do you think the advantages of life with mobile phones?
Personally, by the way, thank you for the question. Personally, the greatest benefits of the cell phone is its portability, which eventually allows me to be in many places at the same time. which eventually allows me to be in many places at the same time. I can run to several activities in different places, all with just a push of a button, saving me a lot of time. As I said just now about giving my students homework even though I'm not inside the class or I'm on leave or any emergency happens. I can just bring my handphone and give them the homework or task so that they can finish up all the material even though I'm not inside the class. Other than that, we can use our mobile phones to instantly download information, catch up on the latest news, views and movies. I like to read newspaper digital because it's very easy to use. What can I say is, my hobby is I love to read something that beneficial for myself so that I can share it with my students. So I love to read journal, article or news, and basically I will read news and I subscribe a few news like My News and Berita Harian, so I can read everywhere I go. Not only that, smartphones are so efficient that they have record certain things in our life. For example, landline phones, alarm clocks, cameras, calculators, and others, which has reduced our burden. Moreover, I know as a student, there's a lot of assignment and tasks that you guys need to do. They require them to have a mobile phone to find the information and maybe record some stuff for their tasks. And I think with mobile phones, we can communicate with our friends or relatives through different social networks. I was able to stay in touch with my relatives and friends, even though they are not in the same country. Not only that, I love to make video calls because I can update my daily life virtually. Next, we can use a few social media like Gmail, Skype, or Facebook. But I think WhatsApp is the best platform to communicate with relatives and my friends. This mobile phone actually can keep in touch with our friends or relatives who may live far away from us. As a teacher actually, I also make a side income money for my pocket money. So mobile phone actually make my work easier to receive and send business information to my customers. And I think I can use my mobile phone to make online payment and else. Last but not least, mobile phones are life-saving in emergencies. Why I say that is because phones have become a common thing that we can find it. We can find it difficult if we live without phones, and we can easily make an emergency calls if anything happens to inform any accident like fire burning, flood, and also road accident. So we can save life if we are in hurry. So I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Manu, for the great explanation. I also agree with you actually. The reality is that nowadays a smartphone makes communication more easier. Tasks can be managed just from apps, and you also can buy things or get directions or even print documents only by just tapping on your screen. Practically, the idea behind the smartphones is to make our life easier, more practical and productive. Smartphones are tools. We should control how we use them and how we spend our time on them, or at least we should. So, our next question is, what do you think the advantages of life without a mobile phone? Can I ask Ms. Amani to answer this question?
Alright, thank you, our moderator. For me, let's take you back to the old days. I think that we all see how they are all able to survive without using mobile phone in their daily life. So I don't see why we cannot live without mobile phones anymore. So, but I'm not denying that mobile phone is actually helping and is giving us a huge impact for our daily tasks. And I actually do see how mobile phone help us from many aspects of our life, as what Madam Fatin mentioned just now. But the reason why I'm supporting the advantage without mobile phone is because I see that people nowadays is very addicted to mobile phone. The reason why I say this is because it is almost impossible for us to find one person who doesn't have any mobile phone with them, especially for those who can afford it. So I think that people depend too much on mobile phone, even on some aspect that they don't need it to. So up to the point where it gets dangerous, it's getting very not controllable, and every activities is not healthy and productive anymore for everyone around. So I see that this mobile phone is giving this trend where everyone is connecting in a non-healthy way. So the reason why I say trend is because we can all see this pattern where everyone out in public, especially people who is out for work and stuff, out in public, they are focusing more on mobile phones rather than having a conversation, having a normal relationship between peoples and humans. So let's take a really simple example. For example, me myself, even on public transport, the first thing I would do once I get my seat is that I'll take out my phone and go through my mobile phone and social media. The reason why I say this is because I know that a lot of people out there can relate to this, and the reason why we use this as a term to kill the time. But I think that there's always many other various ways for us to kill the time. For example, let's take it back to the retro way, where we bring books around, where we can just take out our books in public transport and read it. Because I think that reading online and reading books is not the same, and I think that it gives really different vibes between each other. So we can gain just as same knowledge between reading online, reading through screens, reading through mobile phones or social media, with reading books and any other articles that we can find. So I think that this trend could really brings back a healthy style of us for connecting to a real world, except for rather than just focusing ourselves 100% on phone and screens. So I think that people don't really see the benefits of taking our eyes off for maybe a minute or two from the screens, because if we see, we are actually putting a lot of stress on our eyes when it comes to focusing too much on screens for gadgets. So when we take our eyes off for few minutes or hours, we can help to manage our health for a better health and lifestyle. Yes. So I think that the advantage without mobile phone is that we're taking care more of our health. We're socializing and appreciating a lot of people around us more, and we're appreciating times, and we're actually spending our time in the real world rather than spending our time on social media, where world is not 100% real. And the last thing, I think that where people is appreciating people around, and they socialize in a much more healthy way, and everyone is just having a healthy relationship between each other. So I think that is my answer for the advantage without mobile phone.
Thank you, Ms. Amani. I would like to ask one more question. So we have know the advantages of life without mobile phones. Now, can you tell us the disadvantages of life with mobile phones?
So that's a good question. I think that similar to my points earlier, people seem to depend too much on the phone. So rather than spending their time on phone, I think that this is the disadvantage of phone, is that people depend so much on that. We can always find another healthy way for us to get through our daily tasks without mobile phone. So I think that we should always look at the other side of one thing or another, because there's always room for improvement when it comes to one thing. So I think that this disadvantage of that is that people depend so much on phone. It has become one of the necessity when it comes to living. And I think that the other thing I would like to mention is that the rising cases about kids' health or kids' addiction to mobile phone. I think that this is a serious issue that we have to bring up once in a while, that kids nowadays is very addicted to mobile phone, up to the point where they throw tantrum when they don't get devices or gadgets, or in this instance mobile phone. They tend to throw tantrum. It's hard for us to control our kids anymore nowadays. They get addicted up to the point they became a really slow learner. There's always negative sides of one thing or another. So I think that this issue is a really concerning issue, and we should pay more attention to our kids nowadays, because parents nowadays tend to take it easy, take it light when it comes to these things. So I think it's very important for us to focus on their health better than our health as teenagers or even adults when it comes to these mobile phones. And the last thing I would like to add, the disadvantage when it comes to mobile phone, is that people socialize in a really non-healthy way. I see this because we see this trend where everyone is so obsessed with trying to socialize with media, through social media. And for example, Instagram, Facebook, they tend to use this platform to socialize rather than having a normal conversation face to face, or having a really healthy relationship between each other. So people choose to socialize in a non-healthy way. So I don't see why this is going on, and I think that that is the biggest advantage when it comes to mobile phones and gadgets that we use in our daily life. Alright, thanks. But I have one question for you, madam.
Oh, sure.
What do you think? Do you agree with me, madam, or do you have any other points or disadvantage about mobile phones?
I agree with your statement or opinion, but I think, in my point of view, without phones, I would like real hard, because we rely on it too much, like you said just now. But I think this is make our communication with people is more complicated, because we can't even talk to the person who are really far away from us. And I think I love entertainment, and I love to entertain myself by listening to music or watching movies or videos. But with mobile phone, this is the best platform where we actually hard to find a good places for entertain ourselves if we live without a mobile phone. I think this. I give back to the moderator.
Thank you so much for the answer, both of guys. And I think that is true, and we really should take some time off from our gadget once in a while. Switching off the phone also will help us a lot, because it will help us reclaim our time, and it will help us focus more on ourselves and also our beloved one. So we have seen many types of gadgets and also electronic device all among these years. So do you think you can compare the old technologies and gadgets to the new ones, so that the new generation will know the difference? So can you both tell us what is the difference that you see on the gadgets?
Okay, thank you. Okay, in my opinion, all technologies are bigger than a gadget nowadays. As you can see my mobile phone right now. It is so compatible, and I can bring it everywhere I want. Next, I just want to say that all technologies only had a few functions only. Firstly, all mobile phones only have functions for incoming and outgoing calls only. But after that, a few years later, mobile phones come with call functions or SMS messages, or we call it short message service. After that, at that time, the MMS, the multimedia messaging service, was introduced, and people started to share their pictures and videos to others. And you can see in this era, having a smartphone, having a smartphone is very beneficial to us because we can see that have a lot of function. Like we can make calls, we can make a video calls, browsing the internet, we can play games. Not only that, we can communicate with our friends through social media, and we can use alarm clock, organizer, or calendar inside the mobile phone. And I think using mobile phone is nowadays. All technologies are not up to date to this new generation. So mobile phones nowadays is better than all technologies. I think that's it.
Thank you, my dear. That is true because mobile phone has made our burden less, and because we can use everything just using a mobile phone. So at this point, we have known many things about mobile phone, but we still got questions to our guests. Firstly, we would like to know. We know that teenagers' addiction to social media nowadays are really bad. So, do you think the early exposure to gadgets are one of the reasons that contributes to this?
Alright, thank you for the question. I personally think that the early exposure to phones and gadgets do contribute to a huge amount of percentage regarding the addiction to social media amongst teenagers. I think that teenagers tend to take it very light and they take it for granted when it comes to the negative effects or side effects that the social media or phones may have to them. And I think that they are too young to see that mobile phones can do a lot of damages when it comes to using them too early or having them exploring the social media world where it's not very healthy for kids and teenagers anymore. So I think that a lot of damages could be done by them from such an early exposure to mobile phones. And I would like to give a few examples. For example, owning a phone at the age of as early as 8 or 9 years old. I disagree a lot with this fact because I think that mobile phone is a device that we use in our day-to-day life for a purpose. So I think that kids who doesn't have a purpose tend to explore too much with their phones, and I think that this could lead to a very bad places because some places are not meant for kids. So if we explore too much, it's not going to be good for them. So back to the health issue, I also think that owning a phone at such early age is very bad for their health. For example, their eyes health is such at high risk. We're putting their eyes health at such a high risk. So I disagree with owning a phone at the age of 8 or 9. On the other side, owning a phone at 13 or 15 years old is kind of push and pull because for me, it's good for them to have a mobile phone for school purposes. But I think that teenagers, they tend to use this as a room for them to use and overshare their daily life and updates on social media. And I don't think they are wise enough to think for a long term about the side effects that they may going to cause if they overshare on social media. And I think that they are again too young to see that this could heavily affect their mental health since they are way too young to handle the pressure and to understand, especially the pressure coming from the public if they overshare or if they share to the public one opinion or another. They are way too young to understand about the topic, and the response that the public gave is probably too much for them to handle. So I think that I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. Ms. Fatin, would you like to add some point?
Yes. Of course. First of all, I agree with that statement so much. But back with Miss Amani's information about the youngster, about the youngster who overshare their problems. I have one of my students love to share his problem inside the TikTok application. So it's actually lead this method to cyberbullying. So there's a lot of netizens who always put blame on him because of the family problems. But I can say that that student should meet the counselor inside in the school, because I think this is the very great way to solve the problems, so that he can share his problems, and maybe the counselor can help them with a few ways. Okay, back to the main topic. I can say that the statement. As you can see, in the past, parents usually use toys to distract their children from crying. But nowadays, you can see there's a lot of parents who allow their children and expose them to mobile phones too early. So I just want to list out a few bad effects when the children or kids using gadgets. And firstly, the habits can lead to speech delay. Okay, a speech delay is actually when a toddler has not met typical speech milestones. And I know that children progress on their own timeline. But in my opinion, environment plays a very crucial role in speech and language development. So parents need to avoid their children to watch YouTube on the iPad or that for the whole time. So as parents, we should have clear communication with them. If anything happens, if our children have a problem, we need to build a safe platform to them to share their problem with us. Hence, they can develop their communication skills with us. Next, the early exposure to gadgets can make it hard for our children to sleep. I say this because the gadget itself have blue light, and I just want to recommend all the parents or fathers and mothers mothers and fathers put out there. We need to be wise to make sure our children do not play with the gadgets 1 until 3 hours before going to sleep. I can say this because I just want to suggest all of you guys, we can enjoy simple activities with our family and replace watching YouTube using the iPad with the activities of reading a book together or telling beneficial fairy tales. And I think this is very good for the health and also for our future of our beloved children. I think this is the last advice. Please take care of our children how much we want to take care of ourselves. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam, for your opinion. That is a really great point you get there. So that is, being with phone for a long time will affect you, sometimes badly, since some people even get hospitalized from using gadgets for a long time without limits, and when they skip their meals and even sacrifice their rest time to use their phone, sometimes they even use their phone at night that doesn't have limit. So being a kid in the house, you should, as a parent, you should watch your kids and do not give them to watch their phone all the time. So our next question is for Miss Amani. Do you think it is possible for us in this 21st century to go back to the mobile phone free world? Because in my opinion, it is not possible to live without phone anymore, since we have normalized the use of phone in our life. the advanced technology has made our life much more easier than before. So I think, why do we need to go back to the past when we can just use the phone in a good way?
Alright, thank you for the question. That is a really good question, and I'm excited to answer actually. So, as we all can see, mobile phone is a must-have item. It's no longer a non-necessity anymore. It's a necessary item that we bring every day, everywhere that we go. Even now, coming here, we all brought our phone, right? So, I can say that phone is no longer a non-necessity. We all need it to function and to get through our daily life. And like it or not, we actually have to embrace, appreciate, and use it for our own good, because today we're living in the 21st century, as I mentioned earlier. We're living in a world where we call it 21st century world, where I think that it is the world where everything is digitalized, everything is modernized, everything is online and on social media, everything is we are able to access everything with just one push of the button, as Madam mentioned earlier. So I think that it's impossible for us to go back to the mobile phone free world, because people just don't see that we are all living in a world where everything is modernized and digitalized. So going back could give us more harm than good, I think. So this is because we all see the difference between having the technologies and having no access to technologies. Obviously, there's a lot of pros when it comes to one thing or another, and as I mentioned earlier, I see a lot of pros when it comes to mobile phones and usages of them. So even if we were to list out the negative effects that the mobile phone could give us, I think that we should always view one thing or another on the bright side, because there's a lot of benefits when it comes to mobile phones, as we have talked earlier for the past 40 minutes, and I think that we should appreciate, embrace, and use it wisely, because as I mentioned, there's a lot of pros and cons, but if we use it correctly and wisely for our own good, I'm pretty sure it could lead us to a good way and positive way more than the negative effects that it could give us, or any harm that it could give us. So my advice is for us humans to use the technologies, use the gadgets wisely and correctly for our own good. So hopefully this mobile phone and gadget could give us more positive effects than the negative.
So we have learned the advantage and disadvantages of life with phone, without phone. So last question, I think this question is for both of you. Is the new technologies is helping the society to reunite as one with the existence of the mobile phone, or is it otherwise? Can you give us your opinion?
Okay, in my opinion, I would say no. I say this because we can see that our teenagers nowadays love to play games and really socialize with social media too much, and I think they have their own addiction to that kind of things. I can see when it comes to special celebration like Hari Raya celebration or Chinese New Year, there's a few kids love to lock themselves inside the room, and we can see that from that there's no clear communication that our kids and others people. So I think using mobile phones is actually good, but as a parents, we need to aware with all these kind of matters, and be aware that our kids need to have communication with our relatives and friends, because this communication is very important to apply in their daily life. I think that's it. How about you?
Alright,
Miss Amani?
Sorry madam, but I actually have to disagree with you on that because I think otherwise. I think that technologies could help reunite the society in many various ways, because let me give you a really simple, quick and very close example. Me myself as a student, as someone who studied abroad. The only way for me to communicate with my family and friends is through social media and mobile phones. For example, via WhatsApp and voice call and video call. I think that is the only way for me to communicate with them and getting updates and stuff from them. Because I cannot imagine having to wait having to write a letter to them every time I need to give an update to them, or having to wait few months or even weeks sometimes to receive an update about one family member or one friend, just for me to get an update about their life. So I am actually beyond thankful that we have these technologies for us ready, and I'm happy to say that we are able to stay in contact in a much more healthy way thanks to these devices and technologies that we have nowadays. So let me put this example in a bigger scale. Us as humans, not only between one country or another, but also within one country, we can see how hard it is for us to communicate with one another. So for us to keep a healthy relationship between each other is very hard. So having mobile phones and having a platform where we can connect to each other for a long period of time. So I think that this is very healthy and helpful for us, and to maintain a healthy relationship between each other, between family members, between friends who have separated due to work and study purposes. So this shows how much we as humans relate and depend on phones, and we need to use it for our own good. So yes, I do think that mobile phone helps us to reunite and keep in touch with each other. So in short, these devices is one of the advanced way, comparing to the old way, for us to maintain a long-term and healthy relationship between us humans. Yeah, I hope we both answer the question.
Okay, that's really answered the question.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So we know that both of you have to give your opinion, and we all have our own thinking, your opinion. So that is your opinion, and I hope that we answered some of your questions of our audience and viewer. So let's conclude our today's discussion that mobile phones have revolutionized our life. They are the heart of current social and economic progress of world. A mobile phone could both be positive and also negative, depending on how a user uses it. As mobile have become a part of our life, so we should use it in a proper way and carefully for our better hassle-free life, rather than using it improperly and making it a virus in life. Aforementioned advantages and disadvantages, we cannot deny that mobile phones are a great invention and almost a perfect technology. That mobile phone has produced a great level of convenience and safety for those who use them properly. So now the mobile phone has become an amazing tool that their demand are increasing day by day. But on the other side, it has become a cause of unnecessary use, and some people, especially youth and kids, have become addicted to it. So we all must understand the importance of mobile phones and use them in the proper way so that we get the maximum benefits from it. So in the simple words, mobile phone makes our life easier by bringing the entire world to our fingertips. We have realized the importance of technology and mobile phones, especially after the COVID-19 outbreak in the world, followed by the nationwide lockdown. So I think that's all for our sharing session for today. Thank you to our guests for the new knowledge and information about mobile phones. Also, thank you for making time to be with us today. I am pretty sure the audience gained at least a bit from today's discussion. I hope you guys gained something useful from this program today. Take care of your health and don't use your phone too much. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.